field, you get to learn that your mind is so powerful and it plays in every aspect of your life. It really does. I know that Chris and I were talking last week about a video that Nina D in the West Coast had posted about. It's a YouTube video. Andrew Taylor is interviewing her, and she speaks so well about the internet life leads. And so I immediately thought, whether you agree with her or you don't agree with her, you're 100% right. And those all the leads are going to play out the way that you think how they're going to play out. And the same thing with your dial day, right? I mean, if you think about, these people are not answering, or, the watch, I'm not going to book any appointments, or, I wish that they would be nicer, those type of things. And it's like, you're just feeding yourself with that, and it's not helpful. So, and it's something that you have to work on a daily basis, right? I mean, you don't just wake up and you're like, I'm going to be positive today. That doesn't work like that. You have to feed yourself. I'm big on motivational videos in the morning. And I just tell you this quick story. So a few weeks ago, we have a family chat, and it was like 7:30 in the morning, and my dad just sends this negative, pandemic video. And I'm like, why? Like, it's 7:30 in the morning. Like, why are you listening to this so early? And like, respectfully, I mentioned it to him, and he understood. But it's like, why can't we just look or watch or hear something positive rather than this, right? And so all that plays into what we do, especially what we do. It's not easy, not everybody can do it. So I feel that, I speak a lot with Chris and with you as well. And when I speak with you guys, it's just a relief, really. Maybe I say some things that I shouldn't, and you guys tell me, to correct myself. But that's if that's what I have to do, then that's what I have to do to keep a positive mental attitude. So I think that attitude is huge.
No, I agree 100%. And I think too, for me, one of the things that's helped, and this, I just actually realized, I forgot what I was looking at an email this morning, and oh, I got my renewal for my license. They're telling me I got to renew my license, my insurance license, and it's coming up on 4 years now that I've been in this industry with Family First Life, and one of the things that I had to change my expectation and my mindset about was just how hard it is as far as from a work standpoint. This is not like a regular job, and we'll be the first ones. We're never gonna lie to anybody and say, hey, this is a walk in the park. Now, we do believe anybody could do it because it's just hard work, and anybody can do hard work if you choose to work hard. But it's just having that expectation that, yeah, it won't be easy, but it is possible because other people are doing it. And it's not about comparing yourself to others, because you know I forgot the phrase, but it's something like, if you're always comparing yourself to others, you're going to be discontent. You're going to be unhappy, right? But if you are comparing yourself to the best version of yourself, as in, can I do more? Can I be better? Then you will always be able to improve. And that's what you're looking for typically when you're trying to compare yourself. It's like, man, what can I do better? That's the way you should look at it, opposed to saying, man, they're way better than me. I can't ever catch up. So I think it's important to have kind of that balance of knowing, hey, if you're going to look at somebody else, the mindset is, what can I adopt from what they're doing to become better? And then also just having the expectation that this is going to take time and effort. Don't be the agent that, hey, you get started and you face some opposition and you quit immediately. I mean, look back at your life. When has anything you've done that's been successful been easy and never come with any opposition? Even babies, I've got a baby on the way, or my wife has a baby on the way. But when they start to walk, it doesn't come without opposition. They fall and they got to get back up again. And so it's just having that expectation. And one of the things too, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, Patricia, but I think one of the great things about you, if you could kind of share a little bit, is just you came in with the right mindset. And yes, you faced opposition, and you and I have talked about those opposition. And there's been times where it's been a little bit of like, man, frustration, with various aspects of the business, but you still have that, what I like to call a business owner mindset that knows that, hey, this is going to take hard work, but it's rewarding. And the only thing that I can do is control what I can control. So can you talk about that a little bit, Patricia, if you could hear me? I think I changed the settings so you can unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hey guys, how's everybody doing? I know you guys are
Good.
tired of me by now because they're always calling me out. But yeah,
No
but
way.
yeah, everything that Jermaine just said is really, and I'm probably one of the most honest people you guys will hear from. Like seriously, I tell you exactly what it is, and
And we
I think it's really,
appreciate that, Patricia. And by the way,
yeah.
tell everybody how long you've been with us, because there's a couple new agents on here that haven't met you yet. So just share that and a little bit of your background real quick before you jump in.
Cool. So my background, of course, is in sales. I worked for a corporate company for like the past 8 years. So I was a general manager making really great money with a very, prestigious company, very good company. But I, of course, I woke up one day and I wanted more. And I did something really, really bold, which a lot of people, probably looking at me like I'm crazy still. But eventually, they will stop looking at me like I was crazy. So I'm working really hard. After just 3 sales and with Family First Life, I quit my corporate job and I just been going since. So December 1st was my first full-time month. I did a little bit of sales in November, just part-time, but my very first time in the field was November. My first month with Family First Life full-time was December 1st. And when you talk about mindset, I think it's huge. It's literally, I think it's something that we should be talking about more than anything else, because your mind truly will take you to places that you shouldn't be sometimes. And I was talking to one of my hires yesterday, and I said, man, sometimes, I cry of happiness, and sometimes I cry of just frustration, and that's just real. Sometimes it'll be one appointment that you drove to, and that person will take you to like, damn, am I doing the right thing? And
Yeah.
it's always the right thing. It's just not at that time. I'm really big on that too. It's like, when somebody tells you no, it's not necessarily no, it's just not now for that person. But you have millions of other people that can say, now. And that's the people that we need to focus on. I think we do a lot of focusing on who's not buying. And I learned this throughout, these past 2 months. It's like, I just need to really go quick when they're not buying. I need to pack my stuff up really quick and, give them my card and let them, you just need to bounce it, wipe it off really, really fast. And, your emotions will, get to you. In this business, I really don't, I've never worked anything where I've needed so much emotional intelligence. I've never worked anywhere. And that's what it is. It's just emotional intelligence, controlling your emotions and understanding that it's a numbers game. And we say it all the time, but you really have to understand that it's a numbers game in your mind, how you wake up, how you think about the appointment. Just think about, hey, not now, next.
Yep, 100%. Well, and it's a daily reminder, and like I said, it flows into everything. So let me ask you this, because you mentioned a couple things there. You mentioned in-home and just overall numbers. So Patricia, for you, mindset about leads, right? Because even today, you picked up some $1.50 leads, and I think you booked like 4 appointments out of the $1.50 leads. And so one mindset could be, man, these leads are cheap, they're probably not going to work, and whatever, anything negative we could come up with. But your mindset was what? And overall, what's your mindset when it comes to leads?
Again, I am honest. So I already had low expectations of $1.50 lead from 2017. Jermaine made it worse. I didn't know the year when I bought it. But when he said 2017, I was like, oh gosh. But guess what? I still continued. I still dialed, and I still said, well, look, a lead is a lead. I made jokes here and there, but I did call every single one of those $1.50 leads. And I was able to book about 4 of them, and 2 of them are a couple. So you never know, a lead really is a lead. But I do say this, with the $1.50 leads, again, your mindset, you can't really expect for everyone to remember they filled out a form in 2017. Some people don't remember they filled out the form last week. So
Yeah.
I already knew in my mind, okay, I'm gonna have to work a little bit harder when I'm calling this, this person, and it worked out. And Jermaine heard it. I was on live, and it was fine. It was fine. But that's, again, that leads back to mindset. How you think about the lead is really, the outcome. It can be, can impact the outcome. So a lead is a lead. You just got to remember that with everyone that you dial. A lead is a lead. $1.50 lead, $50 lead. A lead is a lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And you use them all too. Speaking of $50 leads. And that's another part of the mindset. It's like getting a mixture, of course, once your budget will allow, because everybody starts, financially in a different spot. When I got started, I was ordering those year-old leads because that's what I could afford. They were $3 or $4 until I got up and running. It probably wasn't until 3 months in that I started purchasing newer leads. But I know for you use, all different types of leads, internet leads, Facebook leads, mortgage mailers, and now you're using the $1.50 leads. And your thought process behind that is what? Just wanting to have a variety of people to reach out to?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I think less is more. So meaning when I spend less money, I can get more opportunities, and that's what I go by. And then some days, if I know that, hey, look, tomorrow I really want to get through Dow Day by 1 o'clock, I'll spend a little bit more on the lead, because it's true. It tends to be a faster Dow Day, the more expensive from my experience. I could be wrong. But from my personal experience, the more I spend on the lead, I just feel like my Dow Day goes by a little bit faster. So I do all type of leads. I did the dollars today, mixed it with the Facebook leads today, and it was fine. Just too shy of my goal. So I can either dial this afternoon or door knock a couple people. I have a long door knock list anyway, so I need to be door knocking.
Makes sense. Absolutely. So I appreciate you sharing. Anything else on mindset that you think would be good for new agents? Because you're fairly new with us. So basically 3 months in, 3.5 months in. So anything else that you think would be beneficial?
Oh, I just say, just control your mind, control it, positive thoughts. And another thing too is I talked to a couple of people. I think that helps is get about 2 or 3 people in the business as well. Because you're gonna have moments after an appointment. You just want to call and vent it out before your next appointment. So and then it's really lonely. I'm learning that too. It's you're just in the car all day. So it will help to just have 1 or 2 people that you just communicate with, ask questions to, just talk. In the same field as you. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, I mean, being in the corporate working world, they always talk about networking, right? And just in life in general. And I think that's something that we don't always take into this environment, but we should. And it doesn't have to be your direct, hiring manager. It could be somebody else like Patricia or anybody else. I will say though, make sure that whoever you're talking to is issuing business. Because you want to make sure it's somebody that's going to uplift you and not drag you down, right, Patricia?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So no offense to anybody, but make sure it's somebody that's actually working and putting in the work too. And a good way to look at that is look at the leaderboard and identify or look at the Facebook group and identify those individuals that are posting pictures with their clients, posting their numbers. Showing you that they're working, because then, you guys can uplift each other. And then don't drag them down. Don't call them and complain. Call them and ask questions like what we're asking Patricia on, what she's doing to win, or Gio, or whoever it may be, what they're doing to win, so you can look at what you can improve and get better. So appreciate it, Patricia.
All right, no problem.
Did anybody else, I know I mentioned Derek, Chris, anybody else wanted to share on that? And then we'll just open up to some questions from anybody that's on the call. Okay, perfect. Give me 1 second here. I think there was one other thing I wanted to mention. Okay, no, I think that was it. So, Gio, I see you unmuted. You had a question?
Are you going on questions?
Are you going to questions?
I was going to jump into some questions.
Okay. You good? I just wanted to share something real quick.
Sure.
Say something real quick. Yeah, just for jumping here.
Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me? Y'all
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do mention mindset in this business, and I don't know, we don't want to take that lightly. You understand? We really, really don't want to take that lightly because mindset is really important. You understand? And starting this business, I have been through so much. So much, like most of y'all who know me personally, knows the struggles that I've been through and still going through. You understand? But the thing is, I just can't give up. You understand? Because I told myself that I've failed too much in this business, you know, not to come back for every dollar that I've lost and every minute that I've spent. So when you say mindset, you don't want to take that lightly. You're like, you understand? Anybody can do this, but not everybody can do it. And I'm glad that this is hard, to be honest. Because if this was easy, everybody would do it. And imagine we have an industry where everybody is in life insurance. You think the carriers would be paying us so much money?
Yeah, supply demand.
True.
You understand? So it coming from a point where, like making like $600 for the week, and to see myself make over $2,000 in 1 week, that's failure. That's failing. That's just jumping and forgetting that I didn't have wings. You understand? So everybody, like, listen, just tough it out, because they say tough, tough times don't last, but tough people do.
You can do. Yes, sir.
All right.
Good job, man.
All right.
Thanks for sharing, bro.
Appreciate it, Chris. And I love what you said. I mean, it's really about feeling your way to success. And then for you personally, and I know you and I have this relationship, and I know you see it this way, but I want to make sure that we all have this picture. Is when you mentioned either spent or money you may have lost. And I know you believe this and you know this, it's an investment, right? Whether that's, because I've been there, doing this, I could show you my lead investment over the last almost 4 years now. And the good thing is I have 4-year track record. Some of you don't have that yet, where you can look back. But if I ever, and I still do, have days where I'll go out in the field and I'll have 8 appointments and I might not sell anything, always look back at that track record and know that, okay, I've made investments before, whether it's leads or time, and that investment I've always seen a return every year. Now, there's some days where I don't see the return in the way I want to, but it's still an investment that I'll see a return on. And it's just about, like you're saying, being brand new, feeling your way to success. So before I open up for questions, I'll say this for everybody that's new. Our goal for you is you want to get to your first 100 appointments as quickly as possible. 100 appointments is 25 appointments per week. So you could do that, in a month and you have 100, or you could drag that out as long as you want. My deal is, if I'm going to have to run over hot coals, I want to run over hot coals. I don't want to take my time and walk across slowly. So the key there, though, with those 100 appointments is you're able to then learn everything you need to learn, from products to the sales techniques to, just the way the numbers work themselves out, whether it's, when people no-show you and how to react and maintain your emotional stability. And so that's your goal. So if you're new on this call, it's your first sales training call, 2 p.m. on a Monday, if you take nothing else away, our goal for you is to get to 100 appointments as quickly as possible. So that way you can learn everything you need to learn, and be able to, after from there, just be able to just rinse, wash, and repeat. I mean, that's your training ground. And our training is more, on-the-job training and hands-on training. So I know we have a couple new folks on the call that might have some questions. I know Aaron, for example, you're on the call. And I think your question that you were texting me about would be beneficial for everyone. So if you'd like to unmute, you can go first. If not, that's fine. Didn't mean to put you on the spot, or maybe I did, but I know you can handle it. But questions, guys. We'll turn this into a Q&A for the next 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, thanks, Jermaine. I appreciate that. Very nice.
Absolutely.
So my question is, so I filled out all my paperwork online, and at the very bottom, it's something about contract agreements. I don't really know my next step in order to have to be able to pick up carriers and actually get out there and start working.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So once you do, for the rest of you guys that are new as well, once you complete the contract and insurance bank, which is where you are, Aaron, once you hit submit on those, then you're good to go. So you paid for your E&O, you completed all the, what do you call it? All the different forms you need to complete, added your direct deposit in there and everything like that. So you submit that to the carriers. Now it's the ball's in their court to get you approved. So we have one or two roads we could take. One, if everything is clear and we know there won't be any issues, no additional questions from the carriers, then we could proceed with you getting some leads and then being able to get on the phone and start dialing and get out in the field with some paper apps. If not, road number two is we could start just reviewing some of the sales training that's provided in the knowledge library. Anything that has to do with phone script or in-home presentation, watching those, taking notes, kind of role playing those, rehearsing those, just to position yourself to be ready to go once the carriers approve you. Does that make sense? And then we could talk more specifically offline if you need to about your specific situation, but that's kind of the two roads we can take.
Yeah, no, that definitely answers the question. Specifically speaking, at the very bottom of that paperwork, it gives you like 4 different carriers, or at least me, 4 different carriers that I could apply to. Do I have to apply to them each one? Because I noticed the first one I did was AIG, and it had all my information filled out already.
Yeah, it's all of them are going to have your information filled out, because once you complete the profile, all you're basically doing is shooting your profile to each carrier individually. Gotcha. So yes, you go through each one and you go through you just click through, verify everything is correct, and then you submit it, and then you're good to go.
Okay, thank you. That's where I was hung up.
No problem. Good question.
Hi, how are you, Jimmy? This is Michelle. I talked to you.
Hey, yeah, good to meet you. How are you?
Yeah, from Miami. Yeah, so it's good. I see you here in person. Yeah. So I listen what you said, and I have a question. So I see FFL is most time we're selling term and the whole life. So I want to know the most clients, how much you selling to them for the policy, how much it covers the most of your clients have.
Yeah, so you have a wide range when it comes to coverage for clients. So you can look at it from this perspective. Your average premium that the client pays, because we're dealing with a final expense client, middle America, that may be retired on a fixed income, or Social Security disability. And then we go to the other end of the spectrum, still middle America, maybe a husband and wife that are both working full time and have a mortgage that they need to cover, or they just want to make sure they leave enough behind for each other or the kids. So you could go anywhere from, $800 a month on average. I'd say up to about $1,500, maybe $1,600 a month on average. Now you can have higher premiums than that, or you can have maybe a little bit lower. I wrote a policy this past weekend that was $558, just a $25,000 whole life policy. And then I've written policies that, are $2,500, $3,000. I think I did a $9,000 commission policy last month. It was husband and wife mortgage protection in the home. But I think on just a straight term insurance, that's probably been the highest I've done so far. So you have, various ends of the spectrum, but typically you're in that sweet spot. I know you and I have talked about IULs, and for those of you, index universal life policies, it's not a market that we focus on, but it is a market that we find a need for from the other leads that we service, which are typically just final expense, regular term insurance, or mortgage protection. You'll find individuals that are looking for IULs, which are more of an investment type life insurance product. And so we have several companies that offer those, and then you'll see higher premium on those. I know Chris has written a couple of those, Geo, I believe, as well. including myself. And you tend to see higher premium for somebody that's wanting to make an investment, you know, for their future. You know, somewhere probably between, I'd say on the low end, 200 plus dollars a month, and you could get higher up, you know, probably $600 a month. So that's kind of the ballpark in which you know you can expect premiums to be. Is that what you were asking me, Gentile?
Because since you say you have a appointment like a 8 or 5 appointment the day, and the people right away sign the contract. I say how you can sell so fast. If the
Yeah.
covers, I don't think they make a decision right away. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, that's definitely, that's similar to our annuity market, right? So with annuities, they kind of fall into what Family First Life calls advanced markets. And so our bread and butter is final expense and regular term life insurance, you know, mortgage protection or just straight term life insurance. And then we call it advanced markets. That's our IULs and our annuities. Those do, in most cases, take more than a one sit close, because either one, it's an annuity and the client's transferring, you know, 50,000 plus all the way up to 1.7 million, like what Gio wrote the other day. Or it's an IUL where they're putting more money into an investment. And so you might have to book that on 2 appointments. But the bulk of the business we do is just that one call closed business or one sit closed business, which is the final expense or term, you know, policies. Does that make sense?
That's amazing. One appointment.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, and you could do both. So that's the beautiful thing about this business, right? I mean, for example, Gio, the annuities that you sat with, was that 2 appointments or 3 appointments that you did?
It was actually 2 appointments. It was on a second chance final expense mailer. It was a 2-month-old lead from the CRM. I think it was like $4. And yeah.
$4 will make you a lot.
Yeah. But you know, it's just knowing how to ask the question. And it's really, I'll be honest with you guys, and you, Jermaine, you know, and Chris knows too. I know that I need to make sure that I learn a lot more about annuities, but it's just asking the question, you know, like what else do you have that may serve as a life insurance upon your death, such as a 401k, an IRA, stocks, bonds, and stuff like that. But yeah, so it was two appointments. So the first one was for regular final expense, and then I set up another appointment where for the annuity, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and especially if you're working the internet life leads, everyone, which are the most affordable internet life leads, they're the most affordable new leads that's available right now. They're either $9 or $11, or you could get them a month old for $4 or 3 months old for $3. These are clients that are online shopping for insurance right now. And they're either requesting a quote or requesting additional information. And so when we call them, they want insurance immediately. And so that's why it's such a huge benefit to us, where we could book an appointment, we go see them tomorrow, within 30, 45 minutes, they've got insurance before we leave the house because it's approved on the spot. They're getting insurance immediately. We're getting paid 2 to 3 days later once the policy is fully issued by the carrier. So it's a great way to make sure you've got good cash flow. But like Gio says, one, you can uncover other opportunities like annuities and IULs by asking specific questions such as, hey, do you have anything else that acts like life insurance? And there's extensive training that we provide with the advanced market sales team on that. Or, you know, if you have experience like you do, Gentile, with IULs, you can also be able to uncover those opportunities even more and set those up as an add-on product for the client that's looking, you know, to be able to add on either an IUL or annuity. But our bread and butter, and I want to make sure I make this clear for everybody, because sometimes, one, IULs and annuities are simple once you understand them. I don't ever want anybody to think it's complicated. When I got started, I was nervous as ever, trying to make sure, you know, I understood it. You know, straight final expense or, you know, whole life term insurance for me was pretty simple. Whole life, don't expire. Term insurance, it expires. It was that simple. And so we want everybody to be able to focus on that bread and butter, final expense and whole and in term when you get started. And then as you kind of get your bearings, then we could look at branching off into some of the advanced markets. And Family First Life provides specific training. Every Thursday at 11 a.m., there's a live training on the advanced market, so you can learn how to sell annuities and IULs if you want to branch into that. And that's on the Family First Life Facebook page. And then also, I think Gio and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's fflams.com is the website where you can go and you can register for training on IULs and annuities also. So you could start adding on. But your one insurance license, and this is a great thing, your one insurance license that you have, life insurance license, allows you to sell all those products. You know, if you want to branch into that, you can as well. So hopefully that answers your question, Jinka. Okay. Anybody else? Questions on anything? Phone script, leads, in-home.
Hey, Jermaine.
Hey, Liz, ladies first, Chris.
Hey, when you get an instant internet lead, does that mean, or supposedly, that they had been on the internet within the last like day or two, or not necessarily?
To my knowledge, yes, absolutely. Especially, I mean, it depends on when you pick it up. I'm not sure how long it remains instant for, but I think after a while, it transitions over to a new lead, and that's where you get the $9 ones. But when it's instant, I don't know the specific time frame, but it drops in as soon as they fill it out. It stays instant for a specific time at $11, and then after a while, that's when it converts to the $9 lead, where it says new lead, which means it's still new. To me, Liz, I haven't seen, excuse me, I'm drinking some soda water. I haven't seen a vast difference between the instant and the new. To me, they're all the same, you know, and so I just get them all. I get both of them. Those are
I got
the
you.
ones over there.
Because I had called some and they were like, "Oh, I did that last week or 2 weeks ago," and I'm thinking that's kind of crazy. So, okay.
Yeah, I get that sometimes too. And the thing to consider is that these folks are shopping, right? So they'll fill out multiple things. They might have filled something out last week. They might have filled out a Facebook lead request last week too.
Right.
Because I've gotten, you know, multiple people on different lead types because they're shopping for insurance. And so, yeah, they're probably not lying to you. They may have filled something out last week, and you know, now they fill something else out and it's coming through.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yep. Chris, go ahead, bro.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to put Patricia back on the spot, but I was wondering if she could post her phone script, because I know that she's been working on that, and I'm pretty sure it's gotten good, you know, from the beginning. So I would like to know kind of what her mentality on her dialing days are, and what her specific phone script is for internet leads. I'm sorry, Patricia, real quick.
Patricia, can you hear us? There you go.
Yeah, it's a little loud where I am. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I had a call, I believe it was with Gio, like maybe 2 weekends ago about phone script. And honestly, I just go with the vibe. I go with the vibe. I kind of just go with the vibe. I don't read anything on my phone script. I mainly is, hey, Gio, this is Patricia, field underwriter here in Atlanta. My office received your form. On this particular form, you put your favorite hobby was this and your date of birth is this. And then they say yes, and then I go into my spiel. Like for the $1.50 leads, of course, I had to do it a little bit different because they might not even remember what it was. So I didn't even bring attention to that. Hey, I'm a field underwriter here in Atlanta. This is for the state regulated final expense programs. You did fill out a form and mail it back in. We have not closed out your file. So I wanted to see if you're available for about 10 minutes tomorrow to go over this information so that I can close out your file. And that worked for me today. Again, this is my first time dialing a $1.50 lead, and I just made that up. I really don't have a a script that I follow. I don't read anything. I just talk. Does that help at all?
That does help, Patricia. And I think what's key, what's crucial too, is your attitude, and that's key for anybody that's new. The old "fake it till you make it" or "act as if," until you gain that confidence. If you're brand new, I think that's one of the key things that Patricia has. And I'm showing you this because normally I live dial on dial days, but Patricia took over and killed it. So this is initially me on this recording, but then if you go, I think like 30 minutes in or something like that, maybe a little bit more. But at some point she takes over and she kills it. So you guys could go back and watch that. That's on the Facebook page, and you could hear her specific script for mortgage leads, Facebook leads, and these $1.50 leads. And so you can listen to that. But I think the key is one, her belief level and her tone. Right? Her belief level is, hey, they fill this form out, they need help. I'm just trying to find the clients that need my help, and I'm the one in charge. I guess that ties into the tone as well. Sometimes I'll hear agents that are, hey, can I come over? And kind of soft, if you will. And not that you need to be aggressive, but you do need to be authoritative, if that's a word. You got to be confident, and you don't initially have that level of confidence when you get started. So it's something that you build or you adapt by watching other people live dial, like Geo live dial and Patricia did today, and then you pick that up and just practice. I mean, most of you would agree that just like anything else, sports-wise, right? I suck at basketball, but man, if you give me 1,000 shots, told me to go out there shoot 1,000 baskets, I guarantee you, by the time I get to 900, I'm going to be a lot better than when I started. And that's the same thing with this. So for new agents, Chris, to your point, I think the key is one, being able to listen to people dial, like you guys are there in the office, and then listening to these live dials on Facebook. And then making sure you, like Patricia does, you have that right mindset that, hey, they fill this out, they need my help. Now, not every one of them is going to say, hey, come on over, Gio, or come on over, Patricia. But you maintain the right tonality and you go through those numbers and you'll get better and be able to kind of master the phones, if you will.
Hey, another thing, Jermaine, I think it's important when you're new, because I did this when I was new, is, you want to be on, you find yourself wanting to ask every single question, or you want to be so prepared for the appointment. And I'm going to be honest with you, even Jermaine's not prepared for every single appointment. Every single appointment is going to be different. So on the phone, your main goal is really just going to be to set the appointment and worry about all the health conditions and all that other stuff later. So you really want to make sure that your call is so fast that you're busy. You always want to make it look like I'm busy. You're busy, I'm busy too. So let's get this appointment on the calendar.
Yep, that's so crucial. That's a very valid point you made, because sometimes you want to, I've had agents that wanted to, in a sense, pre-qualify the client over the phone. And next thing you know, they're jumping off the phone with you because you're on the phone too long, or they get a little intimidated because you're asking too many questions. So yeah, it's key to keep it simple, keep it short, and just make sure you lock it in and you tie it down at the end of the appointment, making sure they're going to be home. And I like, I think, Patricia, you like to say, hey, is there any reason why you won't be home at this time, even after they've told you I'm going to be home, and just to get that confirmation from them, right?
Yes, because I'm not, of course, we all have opportunities. I'm not great at the tie down, but I think that this is why I've done it where I tie all the stuff down and you still get no showed, right? And another thing, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen to no matter how great you are on the phone, you're still gonna get no showed. Don't even worry about that, right? But I tried the whole tie down thing, still getting no showed. So what I do is I put the ball in their court. I feel like they think about it a little bit more because it throws them off. Hey, is there any reason you won't be there? When I feel like it's a sketchy appointment, I always ask that. If the appointment was too easy, or they're just little, I don't know, if I get a feeling about it, I just say, hey, is there any reason you will not be there tomorrow? And it always throws them off. Like, no, I'll be here. And then if those are like really confirmed appointments. So yeah.
Perfect.
Hey, Jermaine, if I piggyback on that too, a few things that Patricia did mention is that she's also quick on realizing what kind of lead or who she's dealing with. And I think that that's really a good thing too. I mean, we're all independent, you know, we're business owners, so we got to quick, fast, you know, on your feet and know how to pivot or what to say, which I think is one of the hardest things, you know, for all of us. Obviously, you know, you don't come in here knowing exactly what to say, but make sure that you train enough, just like you said, Jermaine, you know, after the 900 shot, you're probably going to be much better than the first one. So the more that you train, the better that you get at, you know, overcoming all those objections on the phone. And then another thing, Patricia, too, that I also do for locking and making sure that I don't get one legs, right? Because especially dealing with like the older folks, they usually have to follow up with kids or just anyone, right? I usually ask, hey, do you need your beneficiaries, you know, present to receive the information, or are you able to make your own decisions? And for the most part, you know, they'll tell you, no, I can make my own decisions. They take pride on that, you know, so that's also another key to be able to lock it down.
Makes sense. I like that too. Yep. Because that they know without a doubt. I mean, once they say that, you know it's locked in. And if they say, oh well, yeah, my wife needs to be here, then you know, okay, you know, I need to make sure the wife is there, or whatever the case may be. If it's an older client and they want to make sure, you know, their son or daughter is involved, then you can, you know, be able to factor that in with them there or getting them on the phone, whatever the case may be. So crucial. Good. I think we'll take one last one before we wrap up.
I have a question.
There we go. You grabbed it.
So just you guys, personal experiences. I've heard a few individuals say that they track different things for themselves to kind of figure it out and see what's better. In regards to no-shows, would you recommend a follow-up call, or have you seen a follow-up call to be something that works or doesn't work?
Yes, I would definitely recommend it. And anybody else can chime in, but I 100%. Now, I do have, me personally, again, going back to what Gio said, it's kind of your own personal preference. If you no-show me twice, I'm handing you off to somebody else because I got too many leads to follow up with. But I will follow up after a first no-show and try to get you rescheduled. But, you know, fool me twice, shame on me, I'm moving on. But I'll let you fool me once. Say again, Chris?
Yeah, everybody that's listening, I got a quick trip.
You got to come a little bit closer to the screen there so we can hear you.
Yeah, so everybody that's listening, I got a quick tip that I learned from Andrew Taylor in regards to like when you get no-showed. So let's say you get no-showed, right, by your appointment. Good. On your next dial day, you call back that same appointment. And if they answer, you apologize for missing the appointment because you were being extremely busy, and you'll be surprised. I did it when I was in Philadelphia and rebooked the appointment.
You heard that on the podcast, right?
Yes, on the podcast, right.
Yeah, that's a great tip, and that's honestly typically how I do it. I'll call back and I'll say, hey, Mr. Gio, I'm so sorry, man. Saturday I was super busy. I'm sorry I missed you, but I'm gonna be back in the area tomorrow. Just wanted to get you back on the calendar. And you go right into it. And sometimes they'll even apologize and say, oh yeah, I wasn't there either, so I'm glad you missed me. And you know, you go ahead and book it. Like, yeah, I know you wasn't there. I knocked on the door and called you 6 times. You didn't answer. But yeah, I would definitely follow up. And going back to what Patricia said too about having, you know, somebody that is kind of a running mate, if you will. You know, if you have another agent that works in your same area, you know, if that person has kind of ghosted you, so to speak, you can always hand the lead off to somebody else and let them take a swing at it, and they might get a different response. So, you know, but definitely follow up. All right, guys. So I think we're going to call it a wrap. Again, Week 3, we're in the middle of it. There's 4 weeks this month. So, we'll have week 2 numbers out this week based on what your goals are. You should know, you can always check with the carrier, by the way, to see kind of what your issue paid numbers is, and make sure you're tracking that personally. Like in my calendar, every appointment is written down in my calendar. And at the end of the 2 days, so Sunday night and Wednesday night, I'll go through, and sometimes I'll even do it at the end of the day, and I'll just put, whether it was a no-show or reschedule, canceled, or no sale. And then if I sold it, I'll put the premium, monthly premium, and then the product. And I also write in the lead type. So I can always go back and say, okay, man, I'm selling a lot of these internet life leads. I need to get more of these, or whatever the lead type is. But that way you can track your numbers and you know what gets issued. So I could go back in my calendar right now, even though we only have week 1 numbers reported, I can go in and I could tell you exactly what my issue paid numbers should be up to today's date, because I have it written down and I follow up to make sure the policies were issued as well. So you should know where you're at if you're tracking your numbers. But if you don't, we'll have the week 2 numbers out and make sure that you kind of know what you're trying to accomplish. We're trying to elevate here. It's a hashtag we're using in Facebook. And that simply means that full-time agents, 30 appointments a week, part-time agents, 15 to 20 appointments a week. So just kind of gauge yourself on that and position yourself from a lead standpoint and a schedule standpoint to make sure that you can be able to hit that target and truly treat this like it's a business in a full-time job or part-time job, and not just treat it like it's a hobby and get hobby income. You want real income from this business because it's completely possible. So appreciate you guys. I'm excited for what's happening and the energy in the team. Last thing I'll say, there's a bunch of sales conferences coming up. It's springtime. This is when we have our sales conferences. In Atlanta next week on the 22nd is our spring sales conference. And then I think it's the following week, the 5th of April in Florida, which I'll be attending that. So South Florida team, that's the next time you'll see me. I'll be down there for that sales conference on Monday, the 5th of April. And then if you're outside of those 2 areas, check our Facebook page and also the Family First Life Southeast Facebook page for the location dates for all the other locations. This is not just happening in Atlanta and South Florida, where we have offices, but it's happening throughout the entire Family First Life office regions all over the country. So make sure you plug in to one of those sales conferences. It's a half-a-day training event from 12 to 5, hands-on training from top producers, teaching you what you need to do to be successful. So if you have any questions, reach out to us and we'll be happy to answer them. Let's make it a great rest of the dial day. All right, guys. Talk to you later.